To brush a little bit on what Ambassador said, there is something that we shouldn't forget, that when the Patriot Act happened, many of the Americans who decided to come into Afghanistan decided to turn a blind eye to everything that was happening. It was all based on emotion. As President Bush had jumped on people's emotions and wanted to take some sort of a revenge when he said, "We will not falter, we will not fail, we will not waver," and unfortunately all three seem to be taking place. Now on the Afghan side, you have to reflect on what's been happening in Afghanistan. For the past 40 plus years, they've been in a state of war. So these people don't really know how to build nations. It's pretty much how to fight. So we know how to defend and we know how to fight, but we don't know how to build institutions. We don't know how to build roads. We don't know how to build nations. We don't know how to come together, united as one, because we had a really long, and we are still in a continued state of a civil war because it's an Afghan fighting another Afghan. Now, what is the problem? The problem here, again, unfortunately, it does lie on the United States side, that the United States should have built some sort of bridges amongst the different ethnicities and the groups that were in Afghanistan, which included the Taliban, and then bring them to a united front. Unfortunately, it seemed like every Afghan took a side of a certain foreign counterpart because it seemed like the Northern Alliance was closer to the French, and it seemed that other groups were closer to the United States, and so forth and so forth. So it was the Afghans' fault, but in some parts I don't really blame the Afghans because they didn't know much more than how to just defend and fight. Now the Afghans who returned from abroad, because there was many of the people who were in leadership who had come from abroad. And I think over here, Ambassador Khalilzad had really a large responsibility. President Karzai had a responsibility. You had Minister of Defense, Minister of Interior, all of these people who came from abroad. Why didn't they come and teach others how to be more united? Was it because it was a quick call for patriotism and they just wanted to do something really quickly? And when you're working in Afghanistan, you see the results very rapidly, which in one way is great, and another way not so much, because it also feeds people's ego because you think that you make much more of an impact.